So our goal today is really to provide insight into questions raised by Yang members and give a better understanding into the minds of our senior leadership within the industry. So, Jeff, talk to me about auto parts distribution models, and as they evolve, where do you see parts distribution going in the future?
Yeah, you know, if anything, this industry is evolving. It's changing every day. You see it in the announcements, whether it's in public communications or whether it's throughout your companies or organizations. So we know that the one constant in business is change. But what I see is that's not really evolving is the fact that we have a tailwind on the fact that our vehicle park is growing, vehicles in operation is growing. We know that there's different things that take place in the marketplace, but all of these cars need to be fixed. And so some people embrace change, have fun with change, try to improve with change. And we find that a lot of people within organizations get caught up in change, and that it slows them down, bogs them down, and really it's the noise of the business. So, you know, what we really try to push and promote is that the fact we're in a beautiful business that's going to continue to grow. Average, the number of cars on the road, the miles are increasing, the average age of vehicle on the road is over 11 and a half years now, and there's not a lot changing at the service provider level. Those cars need to be fixed. That part of the business is where we are trying to put a relentless focus on that service provider, because there's going to be a lot of noise throughout the channels of distribution, but at the same time, these cars need to be fixed. That's where we're all going to make money. And if we keep a relentless focus on it and don't get confused by the evolution, then it's going to be opportunistic for everybody.
Great. John, you were sharing some thoughts on the WD supplier relationship. Can you share, maybe elaborate on what Jeff was saying?
I think that's absolutely true. We're going to continue to see vehicles increase in age, and the big thing that we've noticed from my perspective is that the communication between the different channels, whether it's your WD down or it's down from the jobber, the two-stepper into the shops, is the ability to communicate that abundance of data that's now available through these different channels. So as we consider the number of SKUs that are adding in every week, it's the ability to take all that data. And I know data mining is a big discussion point now, but for us it's a matter of being able to take all of that data and manipulate that between different levels of your organization.
Well, there's definitely a lot of change in the headwinds here. With the automotive retailers starting to focus more on servicing the professional service provider. The WDs continue to increase their SKUs, and the cost of those new SKUs are up quite a bit because there's a lot of technology in the parts today. It's going to be very competitive. I think you are going to see changes in some warehouses, and warehouses that we may call it consolidation, but really it's opportunity. There may be some older businesses that maybe the family members did not want to be involved in. Those businesses will change hands, and it's a natural evolution. It's not necessarily driven because there's a consolidation, it's just driven because there's an opportunity. And I guess my advice would be is when you see change and you see maybe there's a challenge, there's also a great opportunity on the other side of it.
Jim, share your thoughts on how you view e-tailing's impact on consumer auto parts pricing and general awareness of auto parts.
Well, you know, e-tailing is definitely making the consumers much more intelligent with what they need and what costs are. So we as an industry have to be aware of that. Now, at my shop side of the businesses, we're isolated from that. And I always tell everybody we sell parts and labor. So if our parts margins have to go down because of e-tailing, our labor rates are going to go up. So in the end, our profit margins will stay the same via ship. You know, with the e-tailing, will shops start to evolve and buy more online? Possibly, but traditionally there's been a strong relationship to the distributor, and if we can keep that in place, and with the consolidation going on, we have to make sure those relationships between distribution and installation don't break down. But e-tailing actually can be an opportunity at the shop. You know, the biggest issue is being a technician is not cool. Millennials know that. It's not the fun job. We do get the technicians young. We try and grab them right out of college or steal them from the dealership when they're young. But I was telling someone earlier today, a lot of these people do not want to stay in it for 20, 30, 40 years and retire a technician. They want to be there maybe 10, 15, 20, and then gravitate to another part of the business. But these young guys are pretty tech savvy, and I think as this evolves, wages will go up for them, but we're going to be dependent on suppliers and distribution to bring training, because shops depend and need that, and that's the value add that distribution can bring to the shops and keep everybody relevant.
Well, on the cool factor, what we're finding with a lot of the newer sales reps in our company is that they always want to gravitate to the cool part of the business, which is the performance side of the business. And, you know, we're trying to embrace that and trying to give opportunities there. But what I always fell back to, you know, coming out of Northwood was I thought it was pretty cool to be in almost a $300 billion business, and I thought money was cool.
So we mentioned earlier talking about the evolution of distribution and what's going on in our industry. With no doubt, there's certainly serious consolidation amongst our industry, not just on distribution, but at the manufacturer side. There are some recent acquisitions of TRW and the ZF. So can you, Bill, can you elaborate on your thoughts on these consolidations and the impact it's going to have, say, 5 years from now on our industry?
Well, and we're seeing a lot of TRW ZF is a very good analogy, because both of those companies are OE in nature, and they're global in nature, and they're looking at the ability to really leverage the technology, the engineering, and the components for all global platforms. We're seeing a lot of consolidation, and in most cases, it's good. It's going to be good for the distributors, and it's going to be good to make the products available that we need in the future for business.
Well, there's consolidation at the installer level as well. You're seeing companies like Monroe on the East Coast. I think they're over 1,000 locations now. You're seeing a lot of groups of 20, 30, 40 shops, and that makes the same scale sense as what they're talking about. My only concern is that we don't lose their relationships between the installation and the providers, the distributors, because that is critical. And if we have consolidation, sometimes those are the cracks that happen, and we have to be very cognizant of that. And make sure that we're training the right people, the new sales force that's going out there, to engage with the shops, because 80% of the parts are for do-it-for-me customers right now.